Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:02. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson, could you do the invocation, please?
Yes, I can. Good evening, everyone. Father God, we just thank you for your steadfast love, and we thank you for your faithfulness and your saving grace. And Father God, we just thank you that your mercies are new every morning, and we thank you for this blessing us to be able to come together yet again to do the business of the city. And while we're meeting, Father God, I ask that you would grace us with your sovereign presence and that you would help us to come together to focus on building and strengthening this new city government. And Father God, I just ask that you will bless us with your wisdom and wise counsel, your peace and oneness in this meeting. Let us align our actions and our word and deeds to your will, and we ask as we govern on tonight. And I ask that you will bless the citizens of the city, the employees, the elected officials, and all of our families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, could you do the roll call, please?
Sure. Good evening. Councilwoman Cross. Councilwoman Cross.
Present. Hello.
Hello. Councilman Hairston.
Here.
Councilman Herring.
Here.
Councilwoman Jones.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Here.
And Mayor Curtis.
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the agenda is hereby adopted. Thank you. First up on the agenda is pending legislation and ordinances, resolutions and ordinances. First up is Ordinance 01-2026, an ordinance to amend Section 43-3 of the code to increase fines for improperly secured dogs. Councilman Harry?
Yes, I had brought this legislation up at the end of the last session. I just wanted to bring it back again so I can go through the process again. And basically what this is basically doing is increasing the fine from $25 to $200 for a first-time violation and $250 for any subsequent violations. Because I think the fine is too low. It's not really a deterrent. I mean, a lot of people still have their dogs running loose. They don't mind paying the $25. They don't care. I think we just need a greater deterrent. And I think 200 and 250 would be a decent deterrent to encourage people to keep their dogs on the leash, especially since we have a lot of people I notice walking their dogs, and they should not have to walk their dogs and worry about somebody else's dog running after theirs. I have gotten a lot of complaints from citizens about people having their dogs loose while they got their dogs on a leash, and their dogs, the other people's dogs are off the leash, and it's a hazard to both them and the dogs. So that's what this piece of legislation is for.
Thank you. Mr. Gray, could you make me the co-host, please, so I can share the legislation that we're discussing? Is there any other discussion on this ordinance? Okay. Hearing none, we will go ahead and move forward to the
Mayor.
next one.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Councilman Herring, so this ordinance is for the whole Glenarden.
Yes.
Because I had some calls from some of the tenants in the apartments, and because I was, because I think you said we had brought it up before, and the question was, since this is private property, does that still include them? even though they still have a lot of the tenants do have pets, and the recently the management did declare the apartments. You have to have documentation for pets, and they still do not always have them on lease. So with that being that is private property, would they still apply to them?
Yes, because county law requires you to have your dog under control at all times. So whether it's on your property, private property, or you walking in the park, you got to have your dog under control. So yes, it would apply to them also. If they're outside walking their dogs around an apartment, and if it gets loose, and if it's running loose, and somebody want to complain or code enforcement see it, they can be fined for that violation.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Herring, any consideration for the first fine being $100 as opposed to 200 and then 250 for any subsequent violations?
Well, if you're gonna make the first fine $100, then any subsequent one should be 150. I just don't, we can make it 100, see how it works, but again, I just needs to be something stronger than 25. So, if you want to make it 100, yeah, we can make it 100. I think 200 would scare them into keeping them on a leash, but whatever the council wants to do. They want
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said if they wanted to be 100, so be it. I'm just looking for a deterrent.
Yeah, and I agree. What I'm thinking about more of is if the dog gets loose, and, owner, it's not on purpose. For a dog that's loose, $200 on accident, $200 could be a very stiff fine for somebody who did not do it on purpose. And just coming back around, I don't mind the second offense being 250, but if you want to lower it to 150, that's fine.
Yes, I guess we. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it, because I know not every instance is going to be an intentional act of someone just being defiant, and I would just want to show some grace to, going from 25 to $100 is stiff. Having that 200 being the first violation, in my opinion, it might be too stiff for me to. But now I see Councilman Williams has a comment. Councilman Williams.
Good evening. I would support this piece of legislation if it was 100 or 150 first, and then 250. I think 200 is just for the first time in the city, and I'm sure we get too many complaints, because I don't believe most people will intentionally leave their dog loose. They pop the loose or they run out the fence, because my dog was doing that at one time, running out the fence, escaping the fence, under the fence or over the fence or whatever. So $100, I'll concur with you, Mayor, and then go to 250 or 150 or 200. Then I could support it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Opposition? Councilwoman Cross.
Yes, thank you so much. One of the concerns that I have is this only covers if they're off a leash. It doesn't actually cover whether or not the animal actually causes an injury or harm to a citizen. And that's something that I would like to see added into this. And maybe that's where we get, more stringent on these fines, because we have had animals, particularly dogs, who have bitten other residents. And that's something that is a concern as well. So under a leash, under a cord, under a chain, yes. But if the animal or the family friend actually causes an injury to another resident, then of course we do have a civil suit, but what will the municipality do about that as well? Thanks.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
yeah, Councilman Harris.
Yeah, hold on a second, this thing. The whole premise of this legislation is to encourage people to keep their dogs on the leash so we don't have that issue of a person being bitten. Once they're bitten, actually, county code takes over from there because we don't have animal control, because our charter says we follow animal control, the rules and regulations under animal control. So they would actually take over. That's where the law would take over from that point, because we don't regulate animal control in the city of Glenarden. We can regulate, this as part of the county leash law, requiring a stringent fine for it. But as for, once they bite, then that will fall under county jurisdiction. But this is to encourage people to keep their dogs on a leash so they don't get loose and cause harm to another resident. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Harris. Any other discussion? Any opposition to making the first offense $100 and the second violation $250? Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson?
I oppose to it because I've had many complaints. I've actually witnessed even some, dogs on the leash. Today I was taking my grandson to school, and they were I guess they're middle school. They were standing out waiting on their bus, and a lady was walking a dog, and it was on he was on a leash, but he literally just started jumping at the kids and everything like that. So, and that particular owner didn't act like, it was any big deal. I see the, dogs, many dogs, they do run around, and they're not always in the apartments. They are in houses, and they'll come and walk, around a paved street, and some of the younger, I don't want to age it, but I mean, there are some young kids that come, and they'll just let them run around. And then when you come, when they see people coming, they can get the dog to come or to sit down. But the fact of the matter is that people are terrified. And I know, I have many complaints again, that I know that people do not adhere to the law. Like I said, there not supposed to be any dogs pretty much in the apartments, and they'll just walk right on out there and let them do what they do and they also will take them over to the houses. So people disregard it. I just think that they need to pay, and if we want to go back and change it, because people disregard, and some people are willing to just go ahead and pay $100. So I don't agree with that. And if you have a dog, then you need to make sure that they stay confined. Because I just read a couple of articles where a 4-year-old just got mauled to death. So I'm with Councilwoman Cross. What would we do? I mean, unless we put something else in there, or just stick to it and be stringent on the fines. Thank you.
I'm sorry, say the last part, that you would want to stick with the
I said
$200.
either stick with the $200. Yeah, I mean, be stringent on the fines, or maybe add something else in there as well. But I mean, that might change into a whole different type of legislation. But those things need to be considered, because a lot of owners, dog owners, I know that they're family to them, but they also don't adhere to the law, even to the point with letting them relieve themselves and to clean up. So that's my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor Cross. I'm sorry, Mayor Curtis. I'm so sorry. I'm curious about enforcement. May I ask the code enforcer concerning enforcement?
Mr. Green, Mr. Green?
Yes. Good
Can you?
evening.
I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Jones, thanks for the question. Do you mind giving me a little more, being a little more specific as to when you say about enforcement, what exactly what are you meaning? So I
Okay,
can-
so when an issue comes up, as Councilman Herring has stated, where dogs are running loose, do you have to actually see the dog, or does the county have to actually see the dog in action? Or can, if the issue is all of a sudden the dog is there, they've done whatever they've done, they're running around, and now the owner has taken them into the home, and we've called code enforcement or the county to come and address the issue. How is that enforcement taken care of?
Awesome. Thank you for the question, Councilwoman. So what we would do is if we receive a report, because many times we receive reports of loose animals and we may not see them. So we would go to the home who reported it, and many times they know where the dog live. So we'll go there, we'll speak with the owner, we'll ask them if they have an animal. We'll say that we received a report that your animal was running free. Um, if it wasn't their animal, they would say no, couldn't have been my animal. But in most cases, they just kind of admit, and apologize. We'll give them literature about it and make sure they understand that that's against the law. And here is, the consequence if it happens again. We give them the paperwork. That's how we've handled it in the past. We don't, it's very helpful if you have to go to court that you've seen it with your own eyes as the code enforcement personnel, or if you have a picture, or if the person can send you a picture. Many times they have a picture of, the animal running loose. People have it on their Ring cameras and things of that nature. So we would usually get that information, and we would use that when we are communicating, and or we can use that for in court. I haven't had any interaction with the county as it relates to that, but um, they would many times tell you that you have to catch the animal and things of that nature. But that's been my interaction as it relates to dealing with these animals that are running loose, whether we see them or whether we don't.
Okay, so once this ordinance, if it goes into effect, is gone into effect, so we'll do an educational piece before we start handing out, well, you do an educational piece already, so I mean, even with this legislation, if it goes forth, then we will do an educational piece to all the citizens to let them know, because I know when we had an issue over here on Ward 3 in First, Second, Third, Fourth Street with dogs, what I did was got flyers and I took them to each house. So, and then the issue kind of subsided. We haven't had the dog going from yard to yard since. So, is that part of the enforcement that we're going to take once this legislation goes in, if it goes into effect?
Sure, we can do a multi-pronged education. We can, again, we'll for sure have flyers, just like we have for many of the violations that we have. We'll have flyers. As you know, we utilize the newsletter a lot to communicate information regarding animals, so we can do that as well, word of mouth. So we will incorporate multiple things to make sure that we educate the citizens with this new legislation.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cross. Oh my goodness, I keep doing it. I'm gonna get it. I thank you so much, Mayor Curtis.
No worries. Thank you. Councilwoman Cross? You are mute.
Thank you so much. I want to add to this legislation, and Councilman Herring, I would love to be a co-sponsor with you on this, but I would like to add to this legislation and enforcement, which clearly define who is a certified enforcer. What last thing we don't want is citizens out there with their camera taking pictures, sending it to us as legislators or the police saying, hey, I witnessed my neighbor and they dog don't have a leash. Who are the no kitten certified enforcers. Are we talking code enforcement of the city of Glenarden, police officers of the city of Glenarden, and other police-like enforcement entities in our city? I just want to be clear that we don't start a neighborhood riot with citizens out there doing great things, being good citizens and video and photographing the neighbors. Thank you. And I do agree with the $200, Councilman Herring, because what we want is the accountability piece. And I'm really clear about safety, because I have had, folks tell me they have been bitten, and it isn't nice. You got to get a tetanus shot, and it costs you over $500. So, sorry, really doesn't get it. And we want our residents to be responsible and loving and kind, to all animals as well as each other. Thank you.
Councilman Harry?
Yes. Let me just say, um, I think that I mean, any department we have, whether it's the police, code enforcement, public works, it's all a partnership in line with the residents of the community. So if a resident sees something and they take a picture, which I hope they do, because that's really the only way the code enforcement is going to catch them, is take a picture or send them video to show that the dog is off the leash. That's the only way we're going to be able to enforce it. And people should do that if they feel, especially if a dog is running loose. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know there's been some very large dogs running loose that, some pits, because, pits is back in the community, and, these some nice medium-sized dogs running loose that could be very dangerous and could hurt a child or hurt an adult, or hurt another animal. So I mean, enforcement would be, yes, code enforcement. Yeah, police should, if they see a dog running loose, they should, if they can identify where it's coming from, then they should report it. But also the citizens need to be involved in it, because they're the ones who's really going to see the dogs running loose. And let me just say this as a former dog owner, I love dogs a lot. I had a dog, and my dog, I try to keep my dog under control. My dog, I knew my dog could hop the fence. I knew every way my dog could get out, so I had to raise the fence up. Then I had to make sure I close the gaps in the side of the gate. So you can keep your dog in if you have to, and if push come to shove, then you can kennel it in your backyard. You can buy a fenced-in kennel to keep it in there, and take it out when you're out there. So there's ways to control your dog. You know when your dog can hop a fence. You know when your dog can sneak out, when they can dig under a fence. Because once they get out, So I'm just saying again, I'm not trying to punish anybody. I'm just telling them to be responsible and responsible citizens when it comes down to being animal dog ownership. Again, I think that enforcement is going to be, again, as a community, and as citizens, if you see something, like I said, if you see something, say something. That's the only way it's going to work. Just like with the police, if you see something, let the police know. The police are not going to catch everything. Code is definitely not going to catch everything, because there's only 4 of them. People, like I say, I saw a neighbor the other day, with their dogs out, off the leash. And this neighbor has been told time and time again not to do it. And they're still doing it, So it's like, I don't care, but, code can't be everywhere. I could have went down to a picture, but I didn't feel like going through all that rigmarole. But I could have, because I know that they've been told twice, really, so far, and the same people, they walk the dog, they know they know I report it, so they walk the dog, and when they get around on the other side of the block, they take it off the leash, and that's dangerous to do, because one, it's dangerous for them because they're small dogs. So if another dog get a hold of their dog, they can't lift that dog up, or that dog could be killed. So it isn't only safety for the citizens, also safety for the other animals out here that's smaller and could be attacked by a much bigger dog. But again, I don't think that we need to. Enforcement would be everybody involved, everybody in the community, everybody's involved with enforcement of all the ordinances. And if you see it, see something, say something. Take a picture, take a picture. If it's on your ring, send it in, so the code enforcement can know where to focus their attention. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Councilman Cross, briefly.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment, Councilman Herring. I do wish that we would take it with this now new information to legal for legal review. I am really concerned about is filing a complaint is fine with the local law enforcement, code enforcement, those that are licensed and certified to essentially enact controls in that manner. But what we don't want is behaviors that constitute stalking or harassment, because that puts us in violation of other Maryland laws. And additionally, beyond that, we have a reasonable expectation of privacy statute in the state of Maryland. And so, again, using someone's information for commercial purposes, we don't know what people are going to do. Many people take pictures, put it on, social media without the consent of the person you're photographing in a way it could cause legal claims. And in the protection of the city, I believe this is definitely warranted a legal review. Citizens making citizen report, calling in to code enforcement, calling in to the city, 301-773-2100, calling in to the police, fine. And then tell them what area, around what time of day. Okay, those are citizen reports. But I am not in agreement, sir, of photography or anything like that that would lead to a violation on the Maryland harassment and stalking statutes. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I just add one thing just so we can clear this up?
Sure.
The Constitution and the United States Supreme Court has said you can record anything you see as long as you're on a public sidewalk. You can record whatever you see outside in public, and that's not considered stalking or harassment. If they're walking their dogs on a public sidewalk, I'm free to record them as much as I want to. They can record anything they want to as long as they're standing on a public sidewalk, which whatever they can see for themselves, they can record. So it isn't really harassment or stalking. And I don't know, and I'm gonna tell you honestly, I haven't met a citizen yet that sat here and stalked anybody or followed them down because they want to get their dogs or whatever. But on film, my thing is the person I took a picture of, he walked right by my house and told me to take a picture. I said, you need to have your dog on a leash. He's like, take a picture. I'm like, okay, I took the picture. So, send it to code, I mean, because again, you need to have your dog on a leash. But I just think that, people have a right to, I mean, like I said, when you're in public, you're on a public sidewalk, anybody can take a picture. That's not stalking. You're in the public right away. You cannot expect any, like I say, privacy on a public right away. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next is ordinance 02-2026, an ordinance to add a new section to chapter 43 of the code to include nuisance behavior by animals. Councilman Herring?
Yeah, this is another one that I have. I've had a lot of complaints about, especially over in my area and over here in Ward 1. Everybody around has started putting up the signs, please, either clean up after your dog, keep your dog off the grass, because people are walking their dogs now from their house to somebody else's house to go to the bathroom in their yard. But I think it's very disrespectful. I mean, a lot of people over here live in single family homes. Let your dog out in your backyard to go to the bathroom, and then you walk your dog. But don't walk your dog down to somebody else's house to go to the bathroom on their property. And just because you got a bag means you got a bag to pick it up means that it's okay. It's not okay. People spend a lot of money on their landscape and a lot of money on their grass, and that stuff kills off the grass. And I just think people do need to be more respectful. Again, we have dog waste stations over here, where you can walk your dog, and it's on public property. Even we're over here in Johnson, along Johnson, we got the whole alley behind, which is public property. If they wanted to take their dog to go to the bathroom, they could take it in they to go to the bathroom, not take it in nobody's yard. I just think it's disrespectful to take it out, walk out of your house to bring your dog down to somebody else's yard to go to the bathroom to relieve themselves. And the biggest issue, I think, and which I don't know how to even get control of that, is the out of cats. We got so many feral cats around. But my main thing is the people who actually walk their dogs and bring them to somebody else's yard to go to the bathroom. I think it's I don't think that's right. And I think that, you got a backyard, let the dog go to the bathroom in your backyard. Don't bring him down here to somebody else's property to go to the bathroom. And yeah, that's the reason for this addition.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Herring. Any discussion on this legislation? Councilwoman Cross?
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the bringing up of, feral cats. Is there any, and maybe this is for code enforcement, do we have any provisions that helps us in that regard, like picking up stray animals, animal control or anything like that?
Mr. Green?
Yes. Good afternoon again. Um, yes and no. The way that it works with stray cats is that you have to actually trap them yourself. And once you trap them, I do believe that animal control for the county will come out and pick them up. But you have to actually trap these cats, these feral cats. We have one property that's on Leslie that we received a complaint about these cats, and we are working with the property owners and the neighbors to try to relieve this problem within the city.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Is there any other discussion? Okay. Here now, we'll move on.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, one thing I think on both pieces of legislation, it says, and this is for the clerk. It says on both of them that, this legislation shall become effective 20 days following approval by the mayor or passage by the council over the mayor's veto. There is no mayor's veto. It should say following approval by the council only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Council Clerk, please make those
Yes.
adjustments going forward. I know
Yes,
we're now
thank
in a new form of government, so we have to make sure we scratch those.
Okay.
All right. Okay, moving on to, have to make things bigger. Resolution R-03-2026, a resolution to implement time limits per speech for council members during meetings of the City Council of Glenarden, Maryland. That is something that I put forth to sponsor. Of course, council will have the right to motion to extend time limits on topics where the council deems that additional time is warranted. It's just a tool for us to keep us on track and function more efficiently in the meetings. I'll pull it up just in case we have. There we go. Have discussion on it. So with that, I open the floor for discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Harry.
Yes. I have a big problem with this. I don't think that power should be put into one person's hand. I think it should be reversed, that the council can make a motion to end debate if we feel it's going too long. Just like the last two pieces of legislation that we spoke on, if I only had 5 minutes, I probably never would have got it all done or been able to speak on why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think every council member should be able to express themselves freely without being restrained to 5 minutes, especially when they're presenting legislation. I think that if we do feel that the debate is going too long, I think that a motion can be made to end debate or end debate in in one more round of 5-minute conversation. I don't know if it'll be administered fairly. I just think that we are a council, and I don't think one person should make that determination when 5 minutes is long enough, or if, because my thing is this: 5 minutes will go for everybody, because I see, you know, in the last session when they were asked a question, you would answer their question and you would talk for your however many times they asked a question, and you would go on. And if we each had 5 minutes apiece, then you would chime in again and get 10 minutes, where everybody else is stuck with 5 minutes. So I'm just saying, I just think that it should be reversed. If we going to have conversation, we need to have free and open dialogue and debate so that we can get our points across and get our points across on why we're doing what we're doing, and get more information from other people. And questions from other council members if they have questions. People ask me questions just now. My 5 minutes would have been up, and we start another round of 5 minutes. You know, after I've done my 5 minutes, I can't answer any questions, and we shouldn't have to make a motion to continue to extend debate when we really need to make a motion to end debate if we feel it's going on too long and things are being redundant. And that's my feelings. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cross?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Councilman Herring on this one. I believe that there is an elected right, if you will, being a representative of the people, to understand also what the legislation is about. We get it ahead, we read it, but we don't know necessarily who and what, unless you're a co-sponsor or a sponsor on this legislation, you know, the intent and heart behind it, and in the best interest of the city as well. This is an opportunity for us as council members to be clear and concise as well. We agree with that. I don't know that I would definitely not put that in the hands of the mayor or any one person, because debate is what it is. And I do agree with putting in a motion to close debate, particularly if something continues to be reiterated. And I think that we all know that, you know, as adults, that there's a sensibility to that. But other than doing what Councilman Herring said, I don't really see a need for this legislation at all. But thank you.
Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. I looked at this legislation and I'm thinking the intent might have been not necessarily for work sessions and public hearings, but for the regular meetings, that to help them to move along, whereas citizens will have an opportunity to do citizens' comments without having to stay past ungodly times. Because the way I look at this is, when we do the work session, we sit, and the work session should be a forum where we sit and we debate and go back and forth, and like Councilman Herring stated, to get information from one another. And if we need more clarity on something, we should be able to continue to talk, because that's what the work session is all about. There's no citizens that we have to give floor to. So the whole meeting of the work session is for the council people. And then during the work session to the public hearing, we have enough time, 7 days, to go back to any to the administration or to another council person, or to research and look things up, to get any more questions that we may have. And then by the public hearing, we should have all of this information that we can put out there. But then when we get to the regular meeting, then there needs to be some controls put in place. I think that the 5 minutes would, especially for us not to go back over as a council or council person and rehearse or rehash what we've already been through in the work session, and information that we could have gotten through the from the public hearing. So that's what I thought the intent of this is. Also, I'd like for you to, in this legislation, to cite in Robert's rules where it indicates that the 5-minute rule can be put in effect.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones.
You're welcome.
And I agree, that is the intent, and I could make it more explicit in here that it's for the regular meetings during discussion, because we would have had the work session, the public hearing, and when we're voting, a lot of times there is discussion, and that discussion can boil over for quite some time. Also in here is that the council still holds the power to either eliminate time limits, extend and still have the motion to end debate should the council desire. Um, uh, the wording in here, the mayor shall impose. I thought about that after it already posted, and it does sound strong. So, but that's not the intent. The intent is just to regulate the regular meetings, so that we can keep things functional. And but I'm open for feedback from all council members. And Councilman Jones and Roberts rules of order us. I think it's actually 10 minutes, but it also says that the governing body has a right to impose any limit it wants. It can extend, it can shorten. It's whatever we decide that we would like to do. So.
Well, could that be added to the legislation that where it's cited in Robert's rules, what the section and number is for that?
Sure, I'll look for it.
Thank you.
All right, Councilman Harry.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Let me say this too. I think we really need to just look at all the council rules and go over the whole council rules because they're still in place instead of picking sections of it, because there's some other stuff in there I would like to address in the council rules. And I think we should just do it all in one big, like we do at every new legislative session. We review the council rules and see how we can either enhance them or make them better. And with this new form of government, we really need to look at them again. So I was thinking that we need to look at the council rules as a whole and then just incorporate this. Now, if any other changes we have, we may want in those rules. All right, thank you.
Yeah. And if it pleases the council, we can add that to the agenda for the retreat on the 13th to look over the rules and take them all under, consideration. So, all right. Next is Resolution R-04-2026, a resolution to identify stop sign camera locations. Mr. Simpson, did you want to explain this one?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is just to follow up on the ordinance that has already been passed and already has been codified with Prince George's County as it relates to the OEO stop sign cameras. It essentially just confirms what was in the packet of information when this loaded legislation was voted on, just to have a resolution to confirm the locations that were originally agreed upon. We thought it would be a good idea to solidify that, especially considering some of the questions that had been raised. For some reason, it was omitted in the original ordinance, and no one was able to catch it.
Good, thank you. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. As a author of the legislation for this, the stop sign cameras, that was it was not omitted. It was I didn't think there was a need for it because there was dialogue concerning. And if Captain Robinson is on here, I would appreciate him following up with this statement that I'm about to make. There was dialogue or conversation pertaining to being able, once the stop sign cameras where they were reach a certain plateau, as all stop sign cameras and cameras do, they reach a plateau because people all of a sudden know, okay, this thing is here. I need to obey the law. Then they will be able to move them to other sites. So if we decide to move them, and like I said, I hope Captain Robinson is on here so he can verify that for me. If we move them to other sites, so will we have to put another resolution in effect to say that this is where they've moved to? Is anybody from the police department present?
Do not see. Oh, Chief Bryant is here.
Good evening, Chief Bryant. How you doing, Mayor and council members and citizens? I don't know the exact information for that because I know Captain Robinson handled that aspect of it. But it would be, I think it'd be the right thing to do. If we do decide to move the cameras, most definitely make the adjustments with resolution and so forth so that we can make sure that everybody's aware and understand what's going on. Um, Hold on one second. I think that's Captain Robinson now. I think he got disconnected.
Yes, I confirm. Yes, he's correct. And that aspect of it.
Yes, Councilmember Jones, you are correct. According to Captain Robinson, he got disconnected from the meeting, but he did hear you, and he said you are correct in reference to that.
So the police department has no problem administratively submitting a resolution for if they decide they want to move them to certain places where they feel that need addressing, of putting in submitting another resolution for the sites.
Yeah, that won't be a problem on the police department side. No problem at all.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Is there any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Harry?
Yeah, on this piece of legislation, it has a camera going westbound on Johnson Avenue and Glenarden Parkway, which I don't, it's the last line in the go back up.
Go back up.
Yeah, right there. Hold it right there. Keep on going. Oh, no, line 26.
Okay.
Yeah, it's saying that they want to put a camera going westbound on Johnson Avenue and Glenarden Parkway, which I don't understand. See, this is my issue with this whole thing is because they did not come to the council. Because we heard they were going to put cameras out. We heard they had these test locations, but they never came to the council to say, this is where we're going to put them. Because has any council member seen the letter that went out to Jolene Ivy? See, and I know I haven't until I saw it on this piece of legislation or until I saw it later, that a letter went out to Jolene Ivy for her to submit legislation in a county to put these up. Now, the legislation clearly says that the council will pass an ordinance or a resolution on the locations of the speed cameras, which, I have no problem with. They should have came to us before they sent the letter out. That's what I'm saying. It should have came to the council and we should have discussed it and made the decision that they were going to go where they're going to go. So they got one going westbound on Johnson Avenue and Glenarden Parkway. And I think that's not a good place for it. Again, most of the stop sign running is coming from Glenarden Parkway from the school up to the light, and from the light to the school. That's where a lot of it's coming from, the Glenarden Parkway, because it's one of your widest streets. Running stop signs at at Johnson Avenue and Glenarden Parkway going westbound, that seems like you're just targeting the residents. Again, we need to slow people down at that intersection. At that intersection, we have kids come across that intersection from the side, from the apartments and people on that side of Glenarden Parkway to catch the school bus. They got to walk across that intersection. And slowing people down coming into Glenarden and not slowing them down going out doesn't seem rational. That seems ridiculous, because once they run the sign at Fisk, once they stop at Fisk, they don't keep on going and they're going to run through it like they do now, because there's no camera there. So I'm not sure why they put one there going westbound. And if somebody comes on here and say it's because you're going to make a lot of money, I'm going to be very upset, because this is not about money. This is about safety. That's all I've heard about these stop sign cameras and these red light cameras. Oh, we're gonna make a lot of money. We're gonna make a lot of money. Nobody's talking about the safety issue of it. That's my biggest point, is the safety issue. And that's why I'm really kind of against the whole thing, because it sounds like it's just a money grab. But again, it should not be going westbound on Johnson Avenue. We need to be going northbound and southbound on Glenarden Parkway, so that you can get them coming and going up and down that intersection. Because again, like I said, kids go across the street coming to the school bus, which is down here in front of my house at Johnson and Grant. And then you got a lot of people who take that same intersection and walk up to the 7-Eleven. A lot of people walk up to the 7-Eleven and travel that intersection there. So we got to slow them people going across there back and forth, because somebody's going to get hit coming from. They may stop at the stop sign coming in, but they're not going to stop going out. And that's why I said it was important that you reach out to the council members before you sent something down to the county and before you pick the location, because once again, we live in a community, we know what the issues are, and going westbound is not an issue for me. And it's not an issue for a lot of people. So Thank you.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, and appreciate Councilman Herring's statement. One thing, I believe we sent this out to the entire council, and when Councilman Herring expressed this concern about the location of this particular camera, the city manager and the administration reached out to the contractor to understand and gain greater insight and hopefully answer some of those questions. And one of the answers that was provided was specifically that these locations were identified based on the number of violations, and that this intersection and in that direction saw, I don't have the specific percentage in front of me, but I believe it was somewhere around 72% in terms of violations during the test period. So again, I think if there's a desire to revisit that and then propose a new location to the county, we would certainly be willing and open to having the contractor come in and provide some additional perspective. But I do want to just make sure that we did provide the information to council with regards to that specific location in general, and if there are or if there is a desire to have a different location or to change the direction, that we would be open and able to reach out to the contractor. But it would also require a I guess an amendment to the county legislation as well.
Thank you. Chief? Guess that was an old hand. All right, is there any other discussion?
Yes, Chief.
Oh,
I had a problem with the button. So in reference to Councilman Herring, the camera westbound on Johnson Avenue, I think that was changed. But the reason I think that came from statistics also. I know when they first initially went out to survey the area, it's a family that lives on the corner, right there. And while we were out there, we observed young man kick his soccer ball and went in the street, and he almost got hit by a car in front of us. So I was actually surprised to see that while I was standing out there, and they show from the statistics from running out there that one of the locations. But since then, I think that location is no longer a part of it. I think they took that camera and went to Ward 3. Because I think we just have 3 cameras now in Ward 1. They took the one westbound, that was westbound on Johnson, and I think that's the one they moved to Geaton Place. From the information I received and from me driving around today with the captain and lieutenant looking at these locations. So I don't think that location will be operable once they get everything into place. Thank you.
thank you. City Manager Simpson?
Yeah, just to clarify points Chief had made there. No, the Johnson location is part of the original locations that were sent. Johnson and Geaton right now are on hold, and we don't have them active until we have clarity here and discussion with council to make sure we're clear on council's direction. So the Westbound Johnson, as Assistant City Manager also pointed out, it was based upon statistics finding the need there, as well as all of the other locations. However, the one on Johnson, I don't even believe it has a camera on it. We asked the contractor to hold until we had clarity with the reconvening council or the new council specifically, and to also clarify this via resolution, those locations.
And so are you guys looking for us to make specifically a decision on Geaton and Johnson Avenue?
So yeah, I think HOA had some concerns. Some things that was expressed. I know I've responded back to them relative to that. We know that this is a life safety issue as well. So I do believe we should have clarity from that space very shortly, and also just clarifying the westbound location. We'd like to just make sure council is made aware, and also made aware of what needs to be done if those things are going to change. So simply, we wanted to make sure via resolution these locations have been confirmed by the council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mhm. Next is Resolution R-05-2026, a resolution to declare city property as surplus. City Manager Simpson, do you have anything to add?
Just as we have customarily done since I've been here, just making sure any city property is properly disposed of or auctioned and is noted. There is a list of those items. If we need to provide any additional photos or anything like that, we'll also do so. I believe those are exhibits or amendments added to the resolution.
Is there any discussion on this
Yes,
legislation?
Mayor.
Councilman Harry?
So with the hard drives, I'm seeing an attachment here. You're going to drill a hole through the hard drives?
So, I'm sorry, Councilman Harry.
Yeah, is that what they're going to do? Drill a hole through the hard drive?
Yes, sir. I believe it is to destroy. I think it's a drill hole through. I can get that confirmed. I do know that the invoice is saying that they will effectively destroy to make sure it is not something that can be copied or reproduced.
So if we wanted to sell them as surplus, we can't do that because they're destroying the hard drive. They can't scrub it?
I can inquire about scrubbing it. I can definitely get some clarity on that.
What year are these things?
Really old, very, very outdated. I believe Miss Ward is on. She might be able to confirm, but these are very, very old, outdated hard drives. I can't confirm, but we know technology after about 3 or 4 years is outdated, and I'm pretty sure it's beyond that. I know T-Spec couldn't recycle it or put it in circulation with some of the peripherals and software that we're using now.
All right. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to a resolution to authorize the sale of lots 34 through 39 in Block B of McLean Avenue. I'll bring that up. All right. I think this has been a topic of discussion before, but I just open this up to the floor for any discussion from council.
Yes, Mayor.
Councilman Harry?
Yeah, I mean, we've been revisiting this, I think, for 20 years I've been on the council. I'm not sure why we're trying to sell city property again. This is a buildable lot. Those 4 lots put together makes it a buildable lot. So why would we even try to sell it at all? And who's interested in buying it? Why, first of all, let me say, who's bringing this legislation? The city manager?
It's at the request of the administration.
So I'd like to hear from the city manager. Why is he bringing this legislation?
We did have a resident, former Mayor Smith, request to make this purchase. I believe in the earlier in March, the administration was tasked with having the engineers, I think it may have been earlier than that, come up with an assessment, which is attached to this particular resolution, at the request of a resident, former Mayor Smith, desire to purchase these lots.
Okay, so you're bringing a resolution because one citizen came. So if another citizen come to you and ask to purchase another piece of marketable property, you want to do a resolution for him too?
So I would say we were tasked to and was brought to the workstation for consideration.
No, you brought it up at the work session. I don't remember it going any further than that. So I don't remember no task being put out there on this piece of property. Because I would have spoke out on it before. I don't think we should sell that. That's a buildable. Those 4 lots together is a buildable lot. Also, it's our right of way, our variance right of way for sidewalks, streets, and sewer. I don't think it should be sold. My issue with that is that there is Glenarden's property, and behind that is Mr. Smith's property. Looking at PG Atlas, and behind that piece of property is New Home Baptist Church property, which is landlocked. I can see exactly what's going to happen with this one. It's the same thing they did at Horace and Dickey's. They're going to want to buy the property, they're going to put it with another lot, and then they're going to build on it, or they're going to sell it to the church. And that church can build a nice sized church if it wanted to up in there. And they would have to come through Glenarden to get to the church. That's the only way they would be able to get here. If that lot is sold, if we sell our lots. Right now, Mr. Smith in the city owns lots 40 and 41. If he wants to develop his property, he got access to it through lots 40 and 41, which he owns. I don't know why we need to sell those lots to him or anybody else. And you can't just sit there and put lots on the market and think he's the only one that can buy it. Once it goes on the market, it has to be opened up to anybody who wants to buy it. It isn't just for sale. You got to get the best price you can get for those 4 lots. It isn't just opened up for him to buy. It goes on the market at market value and market rate. And I just don't think we should sell it, period. I think we need to have some control of what comes into the city. And with that big lot sitting behind them, with New Home Baptist Church, who can build a huge structure there, I think we need to look at long-term versus short-term, because I guarantee you, if he gets that property, he's going to sell it to the church. I'm 90% positive he's going to do that. And if he comes in here and says he's going to build a house, then he can build a house, because we've already learned from the courts that if he has the permits, he has the plans, and he does everything according to the county, according to the county and the city, then we have to open up the street anyway. So we don't have to sell him any lots if he's interested in buying a house. Interested in building a house on that property. So I just don't see I don't see the need for the city to sell that property. I don't think we should sell that property. I think we need to look at all our property together and see what we can get out of it. I think this is poor. I think this is a poor decision as a city manager to sit there and take one request from one citizen to put a piece of property on the market instead of bring it to a work session, talking it over with the council and seeing what we want to do with that piece of property and with all the marketable property in the city. So again, I'm not understanding this whole thing about, and I said, I guess I got to start off this year again, friendship legislation. They got us into trouble in the last session. Friendship legislation got us a $500,000 deficit from a retirement program. But here we go again with this friendship legislation. That's not the way you do business in the city of Glenarden when you have 6,000 residents. You don't cater it to one. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
And then I'll come back to you.
I'm sorry, but I do not have that. I have a whole manila folder on that, because that first came to me when I was council president, and Chief O'Donnell was the acting city manager. And when we sent it to CPJ to have them look it over, and I have all those documents, but it's just not here on the table with me. I wish it was, but I will share that with the council again. There was some things that needed to be done, like an assessment of the property. If it was going to be sold, it was an assessment had to be done to find out how much it was worth and how much the city wanted to sell it for. or, to say it's an unbuildable lot, but then now I'm seeing that because in the beginning it was they were unbuildable lots, but now if you put them together, they're buildable lots, and it can be under the zoning of R29 or R whatever that is down there. I'm not looking at it right now, but then if it's buildable, then we need to know how much it's worth to the city to sell. We're not going to sell it as an unbuildable lot for pennies if you can put all of them together and then sell them. But there was a whole other thing that CPJ wanted the city to do, or the person that wanted the lots to do, which totaled somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, might have been a little more. I'll say between $25,000 and $50,000 that they wanted to do. And Chief O'Donnell at the time, as the city manager, God rest his soul, said that the city would not pay for that to be done. If the person wanted to buy the lots, then what CPJ had put together had to be done for it, then the person would have to pay for it. So I'm wondering now, has all of those things been done? But like I said, I don't have the manila folder right here in front of me, but I will bring it together and send out information to the administration and to the council again, because like I said, that was the council 2020 when we came up. But there was some steps that CPJ had. They already looked at everything, and then they came back and said, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and this needs to be done before the city could do this. And it was going to cost a certain amount of money. And Chief O'Donnell said the city would not pay for that. That the person, if they wanted to buy it, that they had to make sure that those steps were done before the city would even consider selling that property. So I'm wondering, I guess those things have, nobody has that information in the administration. So I will make sure that they have that so that it can be addressed. Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Mr. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. So just a couple of things I wanted to make sure were clarified with this piece of legislation. First and foremost, it was the administration's attempt, based off of a number of conversations, to bring this forward, specifically if council was interested in selling this lot. The administration certainly doesn't have a horse in this particular race. I would also say that understanding the laws governing the disposition and or selling a property, this resolution was worded in such a way that it intended to make it available for anyone to purchase, not a specific individual, and certainly not less than market value. The last "now therefore be it resolved" specifically indicates that, but not less than market value, and a price to be determined based on, I think, among a number of things, including council's discretion, as well as what Councilwoman Jones, I think, just alluded to, which would be any number of assessments and the requirements that council would deem appropriate or necessary prior to selling the parcel. So this resolution is specifically outlining a process available if the council deems a desire to sell this parcel. If not, then obviously it would be voted down and we would move forward. But this is, I think, a way to think about it is an opening with additional information to be flushed out. And certainly council has the ability to amend this resolution if there are specifics that they wish to put in there. But the intent by the administration was to make this as open as possible and transparent as possible, and making sure that through the process, we're able to remain compliant with expectations, rules, and laws, specifically making sure that the property would not ever be sold for less than market value. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson?
Yes, and to piggyback on the just said as well, there was back in March, there was also a recommendation that I had made, which also takes into account the zoning variances that will be necessary, and that should not be the onus of the city. It should be on anyone that's also willing to or that's interested in making those particular purchases. So I can also resend what those recommendations are based upon the findings that we were tasked with by the council at that particular time relative to the interest of one particular resident that is interested in purchasing. Just for clarity. But again, as mentioned, we'll follow council accordingly, and the desire is just to provide that information so council can be made aware and make a decision effectively.
Thank you. Councilman Harry?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think this should come to another work session where we can have more discussion on it. Everything, I spoke to Mr. Simpson and Mr. Wood, and I told them when we spoke that Councilwoman Jones had some information on it. She had been on this before, and that's why I'm not understanding why they would not have it as a topic of discussion on the work session and would have reached out to Councilwoman Jones and asked her for whatever information she had, because I told them then that it was an issue as a cost variance. I didn't know the whole ins and outs of it, that she had done the research on it. And that's why that's the way it should have came before this resolution came to the floor. That's the way you do good government. If somebody gives you some information, then you bring it to a work session and say, okay, let me see all the pieces and why y'all didn't do it before. And then we can decide whether we want to do a resolution. You don't just, because somebody come and say, I want to buy this property, you do a resolution to say we're going to sell. You know, I mean, you don't do that. You get the information, you get all the information in hand and see if it's even reasonable to sell. Like I say, what's the value of the property?
Just to chime in, if I'm understanding correctly, Councilman Herring, that this resolution gives, and Mr. Simpson can correct me too if I'm wrong, this resolution is intended to give the green light to go ahead to get the market value to put the lots on sale. Is that correct?
I would say the resolution is definitely to initiate the steps necessary to be able to make a purchase such as this, which will require those different steps and assessments.
So you guys will have to come back to the council.
Yes, sir. To provide the additional information, we don't know what the market value is. There are some other considerations that need to be taken into consideration. So I appreciate it. I think our attempt was to do so, but not to push this or slip this through. So, Councilman Herring, I do appreciate the feedback and conversations that we had in the past, and I do apologize if this seems to be misleading, because that certainly wasn't the intent. We just know that there was a request, and we wanted to get it before the council so that the council can make a decision there. Next time we'll know better to potentially adjust this or whatever the council wishes moving forward.
Oh, let me ask a question. Just to clarify this, because let me just ask this question. So if you have a house, you're going to say, I'm going to put my house on the market, and I'm gonna get whatever offer they give me because I don't know how much my house is worth, instead of finding out how much your house is worth before you put it on the market. So you're moving backwards. We should know how much the property is before we even put this resolution together to see if we even want to sell it, or how much we can get for it. I mean, it's backwards. Last time, and we didn't need a resolution last time, we assessed all the property in the city of Glenarden. They brought a resolution to say, let's do an assessment on all the property, all the unbuildable lots in Glenarden, which is what we did before. Now, all you had to do is say, hey, if the assessment is, if they're getting an assessment or appraisal on that piece of property is less than $6,000, then you got it. If it's more, then you bring a resolution, get appraisal on it, and see how much it costs. Then we can move forward from there. Then you will reach out to Councilwoman Jones. Hey, can we go over your packet? Can we have a work session, go over your packet and see everything that you got, and see what the other issues were? Because I told you it was a long-term issue with this piece of property. It's been years and years and years. That right there should have told you, hold up, let me not bring anything. Let me just get all the information. But it seems like you want to run forward because somebody came and asked you. So next time I come to ask you for a piece of property in Glenarden, I don't want to hear nothing. I want that resolution on the floor at the next work session. All right? Okay, I don't see no heads nodding in. All right, so I'm saying, again, you're going backwards. Again, this should not have been put on the table. We need to get all the information that's out there about this piece of property, and the do's, the whys, the why we shouldn't, and everything else that's involved with this piece of property. I think we're putting the cart before the horse. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Councilwoman Cross?
Yes, thank you. I just want to understand, just listening to the conversation from Councilman Herring, is he maybe making a proposal to table this legislation until additional information can be provided, all the information that's come out in this discovery, and then, pending it's supported, then come back to the table with new legislation. I just need some clarity. Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Let's pull this. I'm not saying it isn't on the table yet because we haven't brought it up for a vote.
Yeah.
But let's and just have a work session and get all the information together. Like I said, Councilwoman Jones did a lot of work on this. So let's see what she has. She shared it before, but this is a new council. Everybody doesn't have it. Let's see what she has. Let's see if we even want to put this out there for sale. I don't think we should, but I'm only one council member. So that's exactly what I'm proposing. I don't think the legislation should have came up this quick. I think they should have did their due diligence and made sure that we were fully informed and aware of what we're doing and what we have and the issues with these 4 lots. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor. So I hear all of council, and I think what I just want to make sure from the administration standpoint is that if we could make a specific motion directing the administration to do a specific task and or tasks so that we can bring that back before you with exactly what council would like with regards to whether or not, what information they would like to see. If we go down that road and begin to see that specific gatherings of information have a specific cost associated with it, should we bring that forward? Should we bring that back? I think a specific request from the administration to bring something back before a work session would be really helpful for clarity's sake so that we can bring exactly what the majority of council wants back before the council.
Thank you. Councilman Herring, the way I hear it, you want to understand what the market value is for the property. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we need an appraisal on the lots. We need an appraisal on the lots. I'd like to sit down and have a work session and go over the information that Councilwoman Jones have. The purpose of the person wanting to buy the lots. What is this purpose of wanting to buy them? We don't want to get in a situation that we got into on Glenarden Parkway. So we need to find out exactly what is their purpose for these lots. What are they going to do? Are they going to sell these lots, get these lots, take their lots, sell that lot, and open that section up to New Home Baptist Church, which has a huge lot behind them, and they can build a new sanctuary, and they have to come through Glenarden to get to it. So we need to get an appraisal, get the information, sit down with a work session, let Councilwoman Jones share her information, and hear all the other information. What is going to be built there? What are we planning on looking at? What? I mean, that's what I don't understand. Y'all don't even know what the plans are for the piece of property. They could be building a strip club or anything else. You don't even know. We haven't even had any discussion on that. What is their plans for that property? But y'all want to sit there and put it up for sale. I mean, you got to do better when it comes to the citizens in this community. Look out for the citizens first, not friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wood?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Absolutely hear you, Councilman Herring. So what I'm hearing, A, there's a cost associated with appraisals, but B, I think what I'm hearing, it sounds like, is a request for proposal, or I'm sorry, actually, request for information, I guess, would be a little bit more accurate, and putting it out to developers in general to see what the potential developments could be at the site. I think if we target or ask only one specific individual, as this legislation is kind of broad, I just want to make sure that we're able to bring the full picture back to the council of what all development opportunities would be at that site. So I think proposing or reaching out to developers and proposing or getting their input on what could be potentially developed there, as well as identifying the market value of these particular parcels bundled together as a developable lot. Sounds like what I'm hearing council request, and I just want to make sure that that's in fact correct.
Yeah, so I'm hearing two things. Um, and I believe that they're separate. The one is to um, get an appraisal on the lots, um, and review the information from Councilwoman Jones uh, to determine whether we even want to put these lots up for sale. And then if the council wishes to put these lots up for sale, then I'm guessing that we will get offers and we will analyze offers to see which offer we want to go with. Councilman Herring, is that where you're leading?
Yeah, that's where I'm leading to. It's two
Okay.
parts.
Okay. All right. Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. Because the lots in the front of that property, if I can recall really good, in front of those properties is just lots that the city owns. There's small lots.
Yeah.
But the lots behind it, just like Councilman Herring was saying, is New Home Baptist Church, Prince George's County Schools, and Mr. I think there was at the time, Mr. Gordon, Wilton Gordon owned the properties, who was the former Mayor Smith's uncle. I think Mr. Smith now owns the property. So as far as reaching out to developers to find out, I don't think it would be feasible to spend the money to reach out to a developer to find out what we can do on those properties are already someone's property, someone else's private property. But the lot and it's like the lot from the curb, maybe 10 feet or 20 feet or somewhere back, belongs to the city of Glenarden. But they're saying now, I don't know where they got this information from, but it's saying in this resolution that the parcels meets the Prince George's County RSF 65 zoning requirements for building. Now, I would need to know how big those lots are. First things first, we need to get an assessment. Number two, I think I've shared this information with the administration concerning those lots because it's been brought up in the last 2 years concerning that property again. What Mr. Wilton Gordon wanted to do was build a house for his daughter. And he had I have a picture of the house and everything. But I'm not sure, now that the property has changed hands, I'm not sure what it is that was the desire is to what's to be built there now. So I agree with Ms. Councilman Herring. Look at the information that I've got, because like I said, CPJ gave a whole laundry list of what needs to be done before you even did an assessment. So, and then get an assessment of the property to find out, how, they're saying that each lot has been surveyed. It's approximately 60 inches, 60 deep and 20 feet wide. So if that can build whatever it can sustain, those 5 lots can sustain at that, at those diameters, then we need an assessment as to how much that property is worth. And it won't be sold with this information. To me, it won't be sold as a unbuildable lot.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Mr. Simpson?
Yeah, I also just want to point to attention. I do believe that there was recommendations that I had sent back in March. I'll forward those over, and part of the recommendations from the original task, I had stated we wanted to confirm whether the city wants to continue selling unbuildable lots, just in general, if the council is willing to sell lots outside of adjacent property owners, and what precedent that could set. Also clarifying the city's position on zoning issues, because there's a zoning variance that needs to be taken into consideration, and whether it's Mr. Smith or whomever, that call should be conveyed over to the persons that are willing to purchase. But just overall, any parts of selling any lots, if the council decides to do that. We just needed to hear from the council and get clarification. So I hear exactly what everyone's saying there. We'll take that in consideration. And then I attend again because we believe this was the work session to discuss it. We certainly weren't trying to put the cart before the horse or suggesting that the sale had to take place. It was just to initiate this conversation.
Okay, Mr. Simpson?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask one question of Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
What do you mean by you'll take it under consideration?
Well, how else would you like me to word saying I'll take exactly what you're saying and make sure we follow it accordingly and process it?
Just like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Councilman Herring.
All right, moving on. Resolution R-07-2026, a resolution to adopt an official letter preliminarily granting permission approval for 8805 Glenarden Parkway curb cut. Any discussion on this? I know this has come before the council before. Council has been briefed by legal about this property, but this resolution is before the council again. If any council members have discussion, here's the time to talk about it. Right. Hearing none, we will move on. Typically, we discuss administrative reports, which is next on the agenda for the regular session. And given that we're at 8:30 now, we'll probably, just motion that we move this to the regular session so we can get to the topics of discussion, which will probably take some time. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All right. Any objections? All right, hearing none, we'll move to section 6 to the regular session and move on to the topics of discussion. And first, we get through the first one briefly. Mr. Simpson, the first one is the under drains at Woodmore. I know that at the beginning of summer we were making headway, but now the paint is starting to fade on these sidewalks. So any update on a timeline, a solid timeline that DR Horton intends to actually start work on the under drains?
Well, thank you, Mayor Curtis. No, I have not gotten a concrete date from them. They have shared with me that they've gotten all the estimates back from their contractor and that they are working to give us a date. I have expressed the concern for our speed humps and speed bumps that have been approved and we'll be conveying with them that we'll need to continue with that and that they will need to take into consideration the expenses relative to that. But they say that they're close. And we are waiting to get an answer back from them on when they're going to start and the scheduling.
So when they say they're close, please make them give you a timeline of, close is up for interpretation.
Yes.
So it's not that they give us a timeline tomorrow, it's that when can we expect a timeline? And I think that's reasonable. That's a reasonable request for them to give us an expected timeline for them to have a schedule to us, so they don't just drag us, further down the road, just so they could, possibly have permits expire or have a certain event, pass by, and then it turns out they won't even do the work that they said that they're going to do. So at this point, it's just lip service until they actually, I mean, there was paint, but that's all there was.
Understood.
Well, I don't really have that answers my questions about the speed bumps. And I think that's going to start. You said that's going to start the week of the 15th.
Yeah, so I did get updates from NZI that the material for the temporary speed humps are coming in on the 12th, which is that Friday. They have that confirmed as a delivery date. They anticipate, weather permitting, that they'll be beginning on the Monday the 15th in that week in installing both the temporary as well as the permanent speed humps, and also finishing additional street and sidewalk work, or any remaining, like the striping and a couple additional potholes. I think there's some additional work that needs to be done also on Hayes Street, as far as the milling and overlay, and then the striping, and then also installing all of the approved speed humps throughout the city.
And again, the striping for Sir Michael Glenarden for the children that walk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And do you have an idea of how long it takes to actually install the temporary speed bumps versus the permanent speed bumps?
I don't know the estimated time.
Okay.
How much it takes.
Okay. All right. That answers my question. Councilman Herring, did you have a question?
Yeah, on the speed bumps. So you said they're going to start when? On the 12th?
The 12th is when the manufacturer has confirmed delivery of the temporary speed humps, and NZI has conveyed to us that they will begin work on the 15th.
And finish when?
I will get the confirmed completion date. I just have the start time frame for the week of the 15th.
Okay, because what I'm really am getting tired of these projects, they start them and they never finish. Hayes Street has been sitting there like that. How come we're the only ones they do part of the street, then they go off and do something else, and then they come back months later to finish it up? I'm not understanding this. Everybody else get their street done, they do everything they need to do, and in 1 month it's done, it's striped and everything else. This is just dragging on. It's like y'all let them do what they want to do. They can come and go as they please. If they finish it, they finish it. If they don't, they don't. And I think that's going to be the same way with the speed bumps, where they're going to put down half of them or half a speed bump and come back 6 months later to do them. I mean, y'all not giving these people any deadlines on these projects that we giving them. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with them. We should be getting a start and an end time for these projects. But y'all sitting there allowing them to come and go as they please. Hayes Street should have been completed. This been sitting like that with the word mill on it for like, what, a couple of months now. And I'm not understanding. We're going into the wintertime. Then it's going to be, it's too cold. Then it's going to be just like the sidewalk in the spring. It's too rainy. Then it's going to be next summer. So what is their deadline? I would like to know a deadline, when they're going to get them speed bumps in, and what is the deadline for them speed bumps? And I would like to know a deadline for when are they going to finish Hayes Street? Because it seems like y'all just let them come in here and do what they want to do, and y'all don't give down. I mean, would you like the front of your house looking like that for months at a time? Finish the jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Herring. All right, well, Councilman Herring, you can stay unmuted. You are next with speed cameras.
Yeah, and this is for both the speed cameras and the stop sign cameras. Well, let me go with the speed cameras first. So I asked you before, because I'm really concerned about these speed cameras, especially Bright Sea Road, and I mean, especially with Bright Sea Road. Are we giving tickets on Bright Sea Road?
Or they are suspended on Bright Sea Road. All speed cameras are suspended.
Okay, so everybody who got tickets on Bright Sea Road, are they obligated to pay those tickets?
I do have a timeline where I can go over some of those. As of now, they are in place. There are some suggestions and recommendations based upon the findings that we have come up with the speed camera program. I can go over that with you right now, or I can provide that timeline for you.
So I'm just asking a question because, again, If they were giving these tickets based on a speed limit that was not authorized by the county, why are they not being refunded their money?
The administration's recommendation will be to suggest just that, and then ask for council to be able to make decisions based upon the findings and the timeline that we have come up with. And then it will be up to the council to determine as such. Legal has suggested otherwise, and we've also have feedback and correspondence from our attorneys, and then present this to council so that the council can make a decision on what
So
next step should or should not be.
We shouldn't. We don't have to.
Legal is saying that the tickets that have transpired and those that have paid it is an admission of guilt, essentially. But again, I can share those findings with you from legal, as well as our recommendations. Mr. Wood has also been working closely with our attorney, and we've been working together with a timeline on that. He may be able to expound a bit further relative to the conversations with our legal.
Okay, hold up before we do that, because I'm going to be quite clear on this. How is that an admission of guilt? If the speed limit was illegally put at 25 miles per hour, and the speed camera only triggers when you go over 12 miles per hour, which would be 37, and the speed limit originally should have been and still is 35 miles per hour, how would that as an admission of guilt if they only went 2 miles over the speed limit if they're going 37? That can't be. They would have to be going 47 actually to break the law if they were if they were exceeding the legal speed limit. So I'm just saying, I would like to get all that in writing too by the attorney. I've been asking for this because, again, if we didn't follow the annotated code of Maryland and we violated the annotated code of Maryland, in this case, Prince George's County, we took the signs down when we shouldn't have, and now and we had no permission to take them down, and now they went back up to 35, and all these people got tickets based on exceeding the speed limit by 12 miles per hour, which would have been 37 miles per hour. So you can just assume that if the signs were legal and they were doing 37, they would have been well within the speed limit. So again, I would like to see that, because that sounds the craziest thing I've ever. I'm not even a lawyer, and that sounds crazy to me. So yeah, I'm just saying that I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. I think if we're going to sit here and institute laws and rules and regulations and have the citizens adhere to it, and we are put our hands up and took an oath to uphold the annotated code of Maryland, and we violated that, why should we benefit from it? I don't think we should benefit from it. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to the citizens. How are we going to hold them to one standard while we sit there and basically do a money grab? All right, thank you. I can go into this. I'm going to go into 704 with that one too. 704, same exact thing. It wasn't advertised correctly, so they didn't go into effect until August the 15th. I think that's the date, right? August 15th. Okay. So everybody who got a ticket before August 15th, they're saying the same exact thing for them too? That we don't have to, even though we violated the law, and those cameras should have never been activated. Because our ordinance says they cannot be activated until they met those 3 conditions. And one of the conditions was that it be advertised in a paper of general circulation, which it wasn't advertised then. So what about those tickets? Are people going to have to pay those, or are they going to get refunded their money?
It's the same finding there. Mr. Wood, could you chime in there based upon the conversation you just recently had with our attorney?
Yes.
Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. So originally, when this was brought to our attention, and thank you, Councilman Hare, for bringing that to our attention, we reached out to legal, and I believe that was on July 31st. We reached out to legal, and we reached out to Red Speed specifically. And once it was confirmed that we were unable to find where that was published in a paper of general circulation, which would have been back in, I believe, February of 2024 when the original legislation was passed, it was confirmed that that did not happen. So we paused the issuance of all tickets and turned them back into warnings on July 31st, and published and met the requirements and notice of circulation As Councilman Herring outlined, that notice was, that stipulation was met effectively August 15th for both 704 and for Bright Seat. And, the Bright Seat specifically also remained in warning mode and remains in warning mode because a number of the, I think, discrepancies that were outlined by Councilman Herring with regards to the speed sign and the change of speed limit. In both cases, we reached out to legal and actually have in writing for both of these a determination from our legal counsel essentially stating two things. One, that the
point of interruption, point of order, sorry. Send it to Mr. Herring. Whatever our legal has communicated to us should be in a closed session and not in public session.
Fair point. All right, I will leave it there. We will send that out to council. In fact, we'll do that right now.
All right, Councilman Herring.
I did want to ask one other thing. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you were fine. I mean, well, I just wanted to point that out because
I'm glad you caught that because just send it to the council, so we can have it and we can discuss it in closed session at some point. But also, so on Bright Seat Road, are y'all putting up the school zone signs because it's not posted as a school zone?
Mayor Curtis?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Herring. No, and there's a timeline along with our recommendations. We'll send that over to you as well. We're recommending that the speed stay at 35 miles per hour. Based upon some of the findings, we believe that does not meet the requirements noted to follow school zone.
Okay. But you designated it as a school zone, right?
Oh yeah.
According to the ordinance that went out. Okay. All right. All right. So I'll move on to. Well, we already discussed the stop sign camera, so I'm done with that. So I'm good there.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Herring. Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson, the sale of Lot 8. Did you want to go over that, or were you satisfied with the discussion earlier?
I'm gonna go over because I told the citizens that I would.
Okay.
So basically I was approached by a citizen who is Miss Royette Smith about the purchase of Lot 8. That's the I told her that I would bring it before the council, and that's the lot, a piece of property that is at the corner and or right beside the beauty salon. And she said that she wants to extend her business. So.
So let him do it.
I don't know, I don't know exactly anything about it, whether it's a buildable lot or but she wants to purchase it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
All right. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. So once again, if a citizen has a desire to buy a piece of property, that property needs to be assessed for what it's worth, and all of the documentation and all of the things that needs to be done to address selling that piece of property needs to be done before we can come up with a resolution. So that's something. Is the administration aware that Ms. Smith wants to purchase that lot?
I spoke to Mr. Simpson, but my question is like I said, I don't know I don't know if anyone knows what the cost of it is, but the fact of it that the property has to be surveyed or assessed, or assessment has to be done on it. the city wouldn't be responsible for that, having to pay, for that money out for that, would they?
If the city desires to sell it, it's the city's property, so they need to already have the dimensions of the property. It should already have a survey. It should already have, a zone, what zone it is, and if the city desires, somebody has approached the city in a desire to purchase it, I think that the city would have to be able to tell them, yes, we want to sell it, and this is what the survey says, this is what the assessment says, and this is what we want to sell it for. So they need to have all of that information. I think the city should have all of that information to be able to tell somebody if they approach them and say they want to sell it. Unless then, of course, once you go to put a for sale sign up on something, then then it's different. Then all that stuff will be done in the beginning. If the city says, okay, we want to sell this, then they got to do all the preliminary stuff to prepare it for sale. But that's a good question. If she's desiring to sell it and the city wants to sell it, then I guess we'll have to come up with from the council what direction we want to go in as far as being able to sell it. I mean, what is it? I mean, is it a piece, just a small piece, lot 8?
It's a small piece. Actually, it's the piece that she's using now. That little
Okay.
piece, which she said that, for decades, even when her dad was, cutting hair, they've always maintained, fertilized, maintained that particular area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so, I mean, they just, which has never been maintained by the city. She said they just always did the upkeep, for decades. I mean, decades. I mean, we know about how long it's been since her dad was um, even working in the shop. But I do understand what Councilman Harry is saying is that, I mean, even if we decided to sell the property, I'm thinking that it would have to be advertised, and I don't know.
Yeah,
But
all of those things will have to be
I
done.
told her that I would bring it. I mean, I bring it to her, bring it to the council. And like I said, she's been using it. I don't have a problem with it, but I do. I mean, hearing the conversation that came about the other property, it's more to it than I thought it would be. So just on the table. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Thank you. Councilman Herron, I see you're unmuted. Did you have a comment?
Yeah. I have a big problem with that piece of property because one, first of all, she shouldn't be on a piece of property that she's using now. That's city property. She shouldn't have set up that without asking the city. Second of all, is if we build a police station there, we don't know how much of that property we're going to need. That section may be a major section that we need if we build a police department there. That's right. That's that section between her place and the church. And I don't remember to maintain that because that used to be a bank and there was a drive-through going around there and there was a very small cut in between there. So I know it was private property before, and then the city bought it and the city maintained it when it was a police station. So I'm not sure what they're talking about when it comes down to maintaining. But no, I think all that property there should not be touched because we don't know how much we're going to need, or how much space additional space we would need, or what the variances are going to be, or anything when it comes down to that lot. And I don't agree with selling any of that over there till we decide where and when we're going to put up that police station. Because that lot may be essential to the size of building that we actually get. So I think we need to wait before we sell anything and see where we're going to be with it. If we're looking at a police station, All right, thank you.
Because I do know that because I was thinking it was just 8, 9, and 10, but as I was talking to city manager, he was saying there was more lots. But I mean, I do understand what you're saying in terms of if that wound up being a location for the police facility, then we wouldn't know. I mean, it's like right there, almost in her backyard, like right beside her her a beauty salon. So with that said, I just need to get back to her and tell her something. So I guess we need a consensus to say, I mean, like you said, I mean, we don't know where the the police building's going to be at this point, but that was an area that was considered. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think to be fair across the board with the previous discussion of us having all of our lots appraised, to be fair, and then make a decision on whether we want to put those parcels of land up for sale, that to be consistent, that it should go across the board. That we couldn't do it for, we couldn't say that we're going to have one method for, what was it, lots 37 through 39, but have a different strategy for the lots beside Horace and Dickey's. So, and if I'm misstating something, council can correct me, but I think that we agreed that we would appraise the land, decide if we're going to put it up for sale, and then if the council does decide to put parcels up for sale, then council make a final decision on when an offer is made, completing the sale. Any corrections to that strategy? Okay. So are we good, Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson?
oh yeah, that's fair. I mean, like you said, just be fair across the board, but for everything. So
Okay.
I'll get back to her and let her know. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes,
Sorry.
Mr. Wood.
sorry, Mayor Curtis. I just want to make sure, was that a directive for the administration to go back and do that? And
Yes.
okay. Perfect.
Yes. So council decided that we want to get our available parcels of land appraised. Council, once you guys have that information, present that information to the council. Council will look at that, and then council at that time make a determination on whether we want to put the 1, 2, 3, or more, or none, up for sale, based on future projects or any other circumstances. Also analyzing information of what Ms. Jones have research she's already done on some of those parcels of land, and then we'll go from there. So yes, we will need the appraisals of the parcels.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman,
I do want to bring up something that Mayor Pro Tem mentioned about the beauty salon, or they're using the property already with those tables and chairs. Is that a liability issue for the city of Glenarden if somebody gets hurt on that property, because it is city property, and we have nothing in writing allowing them to use that property? So is that a liability issue if somebody get hurt on?
I would think.
We need to look at that. If she's using it and if we allow her to use it, because if she's using it and we're not allowing her to use it, then that could be an issue. So I think we need to look at that closely. I didn't know that. I thought that was her property, but I didn't know it was city property. And I'm not sure what made her think that she could just set up shop on property without city permission. I don't remember getting anything in writing from the city council saying it was okay. So I think we need to look at that closely. All right, thank you.
you. Summer update from the city manager.
Just want to go over a couple of points and share some information with you. First thing with the mayor and council, first thing is we received a big thank you from the Bidwest groups that was over at Teresa Banks. They really appreciated the use of the facility, as well as the other group that's there. It was they were very pleased about that, and they just wanted to express their gratitude. They had sent that email to Ms. Cheek as well, expressing that. And just know that the administration's desire is to continue to create space for positive community gatherings, according to the council. Briefly, quick community garden update. 5 of the 10 beds are currently occupied. So we are going through a fall crop, if you will. We would like to solicit the council to find out interest, and it can follow this up with an email as well of council member that would like to be a part of the community of the community garden as it continues to grow. I believe the original legislation stated that we should, or to have, I'm sorry, a council member as part of the community. Also, I think this information has already been shared about the Project Charge Award. We have been successfully granted the Project Charge Award. We also have it again for FY26. I want to give a special appreciation to Councilman Herring. I believe he initiated this. His sister Donna Herring has also been instrumental as a volunteer. Her working with the park and planning from before gave her some direct insight that was very beneficial for us to be able to achieve this. There are discussions about wanting to utilize consulting. I believe he does do that. However, there are a few things we want to get in place, and of course, bring that to the council, i.e., ethics board for one, to be able to discuss partnership like that with residents, especially who have expertise in that particular area. I think we've already given the street and sidewalk work update. I'll work on getting the deadline as requested. We know that the council retreat is coming up. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be at the Woodmore Community Center. I know that there's some discussion about certain attendance or certain personnel. Just want to stress that our goal is to have the retreat to be able to engage council and to lay out some of the mission and vision that the administration has, and also get clear direction moving forward, so we can know exactly how the council as a whole would like to have information like the sale of lots and some of these other processes made clear. Also to give an update on the police station feasibility study, which will be made available before the October 6th work session. As well as the elevator project. We also got the scope of work clarified for the gazebo project that I believe Councilman Herring had requested as well. The farmers market, as far as what we're targeting for 2026. And we're also looking at personnel manual review to get in front of the council. Another quick reminder is the Public Works Director. We have him slated. I know there have been some discussion. It would be very helpful to be able to get an idea from council on who would like to meet with our candidate so that we can get that person onboarded, so we can continue to elevate some of the services and provide some areas that we definitely can use that caliber of a person on the team. Also stated, I'll be able to provide the timeline for the red light camera project as well. So I think that is it in a nutshell. I will follow up with the information that I stated along with the timeline. And I'm open for any questions, or we can turn back over to you, Mayor Curtis. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to follow up so we can get this, get the public director thing moved on. I only received 2 people, 2 council members, and feedback and wanted to meet with the Department of Public Works candidate. Is there anybody else? Or is it just the 2? Councilwoman Jones?
Yeah, I'll meet with them.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there, all right. Is there anyone else?
Who you have so far? I know I want to meet with him.
Yeah, no, I know, Councilman Harris, you, Councilwoman Cross, and Councilwoman Jones. Is there anyone else? Okay. Well, hearing none, then Mr. Simpson, could you please set up a virtual meeting, this week?
But I think you probably want to reach out to Councilman Harrison and see if he wants to, because if he does, that becomes a quorum.
Okay, so that, just to be safe, we'll just advertise it. An we'll advertise an executive meeting. Um, can we get a consensus on time availability? Let me just put something out there. Is Thursday at 6:30 good?
That's good for me.
Councilman
Yeah, that looks like that's good for me.
Harris? Councilwoman Cross?
Yeah, that's time is perfect. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Simpson, can you see if he's available on Thursday at 6:30, please? If you can get back to us as soon as possible, that'd be great, just in case he's not available. And we can make adjustments. And then we can go from there. All right. So yeah, he'll just if he can get back with us tomorrow, before close of business, that would be great. And then we'll advertise an executive closed session. And the other one was city manager talked about the retreat. And I do think that it'll I don't think there's enough time to meet with all the director department heads. And was hoping that the council could come to a consensus of, at the very least, or at the max, I should say, having the administration and the chief and treasurer there. So I don't think there's enough time to have everyone else there, and I don't think that they were given enough leeway time to cancel any plans they had to be there, but the city manager, city manager, treasurer, and chief can all be in attendance. So I'll put that out there as hopefully a compromise, so we don't have to reschedule the meeting to try to get all of the
I don't agree, Mr. Mayor. I really don't agree with that. It really bothers me with this. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I mean, I want your
it really bothers me because, again, like I said, I don't want my words being conveyed by anybody else. I want everybody to hear what I have to say. I don't want my opinion, them giving other department heads my opinion of the way I see the government going. I think that everybody needs to hear this is a new form of government, and everybody should be in attendance for that. They need to know what we expect as a council, what to expect from us as a council, what each individual council member is looking for and looking towards. Because I'm telling you right now, and I can tell you what we say is not going to be what's going to be conveyed to them. It's going to be either soft soap or it's going to be a hard sell.
Can I actually?
I just and my thing. Hold up. If we're going to be meeting from 9 to 4, and what are we going to talk to you got 4 of the department heads there. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the department heads there. You're missing 1, 2, what? 2. Is it 2? Code and communications.
Communications. And for particularly for the communications, I know that she has a child, and so she will have to get child care. So yeah, so I respect your opinion, Councilman Herring. I will say that in a typical setting, if you look at it from a business setting, not everybody meets with the governing board. Everybody doesn't come to board meetings. You have the CEO, you have the CFO, you have maybe some key directors, but the governing board, the board of directors communicate policy to the heads of the organization, and the heads of the organization is responsible for going back and implementing that policy, because it's their neck on the line if that policy is not, lived out the way the board chooses. But saying that, you know,
Well,
I respect your opinion.
Mr. Mayor, let me just say this so we can act. So, and I respect your opinion, and that's all fine and well for a board and nonprofit organizations. This is a city government, and we need to make sure that the administration and the head of the government knows exactly how we feel. This is a new form of government. The city manager council form of government. We sold this to the people, and we need to make sure it works. We need to make sure that every department head is clear on what the direction is we're going to take. Because I can guarantee you what we say is not going to be conveyed to the other people the way we said it. And it's going to be where they think they hear it. And I don't like my words being twisted by anybody because I don't want no surprises and somebody come talking about Councilman Hearn being mean to me and da da da. No, I told you this from the very beginning. This is how I am. This is what my expectations are. Again, and again, when you're dealing with people and people's lives, everything needs to be clear and concise on what we want and how we want it to move and how we want it to flow so that there's no mistake and we don't run into a situation where somebody's trying to sell property before they even got the value of the property. I'm just saying, again, this is business and boards and all, that's all different than when you're dealing with actual lives. You're dealing with people's lives. We got to make sure that the police is effective. We got to make sure public works is effective. We got to make sure that, communications is effective. Code enforcement is effective. And they need to know what we want so that they don't misunderstand what happens. Because I can tell you right now, and I've seen it happen before, that some things we say individually is turned and twisted around and it's not what we said, but that's what they think we heard, and they communicate that in a different way to somebody else, and they say, well, this is what I was told, and I'd be like, no, that's not what I said. So I just think that the department heads, everybody needs to be there, especially with this major transition in government that we have. This is a major transition in government that we had to a city manager council form of government. So I'm just saying, again, I think that they all should be there. And I'm just not in agreement with just meeting with certain people. I'm just not. So that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm only one council member, and so it all depends what the majority wants. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Simpson.
Mayor Curtis. Could say I am in full agreement with council being to meet with all department heads. I think the intent of the retreat, however, was for the administration to meet with council to be able to talk through some of the particulars, some of the processes, some things that we wanted to make sure was clear. And then we come to an agreement, and then I would love to, I encourage a separate meeting specifically for that. Now, that's just kind of going back to what we were saying with our original intent of the retreat. However, I know as it was expressed that council wants to meet that. So I don't want it to be conveyed or misconstrued to think that I don't want that, or that the administration doesn't want that. I think employees, department heads, they would actually love that. However, I think the intent of the retreat was a bit different. So if that's the case, we'll just circle back and sort of revamp things there. But again, we'll defer as always to the council as a whole and what they decide to do. But our original intent of the retreat is to be able to meet, to be able to discuss different aspects of what we're experiencing, what we're going through, what we anticipate doing, try to figure out exactly what the council as a whole desires and missions are, and then we get in alignment there, and then we present that to department heads and to the employees. And so my suggestion and only my suggestion and recommendation is if we could maybe set a separate meeting to be able to do just what I'm hearing from some of the council members. But again, we'll defer to council accordingly.
Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Well, originally, I also thought that it was going to be the government, form of government, which would be the city manager and the council. But then, I was told that there would be two other department heads. So, what I am not for, and so I was thinking that if you're going to invite, the department heads, then all of them should be there, so that whatever is said can be said. Then we're gonna have to keep going over it. What I do not want is, which I think Mr. Simpson said, was we meet the form of government, which is the city manager and the council, and once we meet, then the administration briefs the staff. I absolutely do not like that. Now, I would be willing to say the council and the city manager and assistant city manager meet, and we meet, and then once we come to whatever's agreement, or whatever, everything is down, policies, procedures, or whatever, then we meet with all of the department heads. But prior to meeting with them, what was done in the meeting would be considered as a closed meeting. Then we could go and say everything we had to say to all the department heads. I don't think that we should have, how can we pick and choose which one is going to be there? The other thing I said is that if we did have a department head, if we wanted to have anybody, I would say it should be the treasurer, because the council is responsible for the finances and the monies. And so if something was to come up, he would be there to, for anything that we needed. So I'm not for having, just a couple, because in my opinion, it would be the treasurer, the chief, the public, no, I don't think we have public works yet, but the code enforcement, Ms. Ward and Ms. Schultz. So, I mean, I'm not understanding how, this particular ones are being there, except for, in my mind, no question about the financial officer, because finances are going to be mentioned. There are different protocols and standard operating procedures that's probably going to be implemented that would involve the way we pay our bills, the way we handle our finances. So I can see that. So for me, and that's the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson. Any other comments? Maybe we'll have to make a decision. So, Councilman Herring, in hearing what Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson said, are you okay with having just two meetings? One where we nail down what this form of government looks like, mission and vision, and then another meeting to communicate that to the department heads?
So if it's only the city manager and assistant city manager, as Mayor Pro Tem was saying,
Yes.
we'd be fine with that, but not with, if we're gonna meet with the department heads, we need to meet with all department heads. So
Okay.
yes, with the city manager and assistant city manager, as she said, fine.
Okay, so we'll do that, and at the meeting, we'll come up with a second meeting to communicate what council members want to communicate to department heads. All right, and we'll come up with that date at the meeting. Any other discussion? Councilman Harry, I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right, boards, Mr. Wood.
All right. Evening all. Thanks, Mayor. I'll be brief. I know the hour's getting late. So just wanted to bring a couple of things to council's, I guess, thought process as we engage on this new council. And those are a couple of the boards. Obviously, the elections board is one that I believe we're going to need to reconstitute. And then the appeals board and the ethics board are two boards that are, I guess, both important and also have recently come into, I guess, recent view through outside actions, one of which being a resident in a particular case that was brought before before the council. There were some concerns, I guess, articulated to a state or a county entity, and it was referred back to, or their process is to refer it back to the city ethics board, which we didn't have or don't have. So I just wanted to bring, I guess, attention and get thoughts around whether we would be interested in constituting that, if there was a desire to do so, potentially help craft what that might look like. And so I see Dr. Cross was.
Yeah. Do we advertise that in the newsletter? The open spots for the boards?
I know my understanding, especially for the elections board specifically, that we have. I believe.
Now, if we don't, let's put it in with the next edition to advertise that, please.
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Cross.
Thank you. Just acknowledge you do have an ethics board. You actually have 4 or 5 positions filled, and board members will serve until they resign or until their term is served and another person is appointed over that particular term that has expired. So you actually do have a board. Their resolutions are all in our drive and on the city website. And we'll make sure that you get a copy of all those resolutions so you know what citizens have already sworn in to serve in this position of Board of Ethics. But yeah, you do have a board.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mayor, or Councilwoman Cross. My apologies. Yeah, when we were looking for that, did not see that, but that is excellent news and something that we'll also be able to report to the state. I know that that was something that recently came into the mail to the city. So
Yeah, let's double check that. I don't recall having an ethics, but I know that I can recall one person being appointed. I think that's Yvonne White was appointed in the past 4 years. I know Councilman Cross was on it before she stepped down 4 years ago. I do know that I think a couple, 1 or 2 residents in Woodmore were on the board, but I don't think that they are active or consider themselves board members. You know, I don't even know if there's a protocol to resign. Um, uh, Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Um, I don't know about the protocol, but I know that in the last administration, I stayed that was topic of discussion several times. I know some legislation was bought, um, one or two maybe, and it was not passed, but we do not have an ethics board, a functioning ethics board. We don't have enough uh, people. I mean, we did not vote 5 members in. And the ones that were on there, they just stopped functioning. And I forgot which one it was, but a couple of them were contacted, and they just said no, they were no longer functioning. But we didn't request. At least I didn't request a letter of resignation because I never. And they said no, so that was it. But it was that was one of the things that was pertinent, that and because I know Mr. Kapinski would periodically say, y'all need to do this, and it just didn't get done like it was supposed to. The same way with the election board. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cross.
You can quickly find all of the resolutions if you just go to the city website, approve legislation, and just type in ethics. You do have resolutions that was submitted. Only one of the appointments was denied their resolution, but you do have members. Mr. Paul Braxton was sworn in on the resolution R 47/2022. Yvonne White was sworn in under Resolution R 48/2022. You did put powers, if you will, of Ethics Commission and establishment of that commission, which is under Ordinance -01-2022. You also had Miss Vanessa Armstrong, who did not send a letter of resignation, but if she sends a resignation letter, then there is an appropriate way other than saying, well, we're not functioning. Well, we're not functioning means, well, they didn't have anything to function, or they didn't establish themselves as a board. But she was under R 12/2019, and unless Mr. Squire Newsom has declined his appointment, he was under Resolution R 34/2018. The only one that was before the 2022 period was Mr. White, George White. However, he is under Resolution R 36/2018. So all of those members are active members of the city of Glenarden. The only one that I believe, may have had some concerns there is Ms. Dade, of course, under Resolution R 11/2019. So your Board of Ethics stays appointed unless someone replaces them or they formally, by written decree, resigns. That's the way that it's written to support. And then there was an emergency ordinance also, 003, 2024, and that was under the change of the state mandate. So by the state mandate, we have always had a board of elections. Whether or not they have operated or we utilize them in a way that would generate their efforts, well, that's, on the council. But at the end of the day, you do have members, and just approve legislation, put in ethics, and everything I've told you is available. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Yes, David White did resign. Squire. And you said Board of Elections. I'm assuming that you meant ethics. Councilwoman Cross.
Yes, this is our Board of Ethics and the Board of Elections, because you brought it up, Mayor
No,
Pro Tem,
I was
is the
talking
same.
about ethics.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard you said Board of Election as well. Just noting that they're appointed unless they resign as well, same as the Ethics Board. Thank you.
Well, I do know we had a board of election because we just had an election. I'm talking about the ethics, and David White did resign a few years ago, and I think Squire. Again, we have not had a functioning ethics board because we didn't have members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, let me,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I mean, because I was going to say the same thing. I know we had some members on there, and I thought we had at least three, which constituted a quorum. So I'm not sure how many we got actually on the ethics board. But with the election board, we have an election board. So why are we looking for more election board? I mean, we need 4 more, but you have at least 6. So in your election board uh, highlight on here, you're talking about getting a full election board, Mr. Wood, or are you talking about filling the board up? I mean, filling it completely? Because right now I think we got 6, and they're
Yeah,
still under the election board members for the next 2 or 3 years.
correct. Oh, sorry, Mayor Curtis.
No, go ahead, Mr. Wood.
Yes, that's correct. It's just that there were those vacancies, and if just I guess a highlight, if we wanted to fill those or looking at advertising, I think as Mayor Curtis outlined, making sure that they're in the newsletter, making sure that we're advertising on the website, those types of things, to make sure that it is full when possible. Obviously, that's not something that is always possible, but when and if it is, that we do that. That's the only thing I was intending to highlight. And then it sounds like there's some additional places to look or research or potential outreach with regards to the ethics board. So we can circle back on that and dig into that a little bit more and perhaps report out either at the retreat or at the next, not the public session, but the next council meeting.
So what is this appeals board?
The appeals board is a practice, and this specifically was something that legal raised with regards to the 8805 curb cut, and it's a practice that a number of municipalities have, where decisions both either whether it's an administrative decision or otherwise, it constitutes a board where a resident or business has the opportunity to appeal that decision without it going before the full council, or if it is the full council, to appeal that decision to another body. It's something that the legal counsel recommended, that's been practiced in other municipalities. It's not something that I was aware that we had, but just wanted to bring that forward as a discussion.
So they're recommending that we have an appeals board to override a council decision.
Well, typically they're used if it was an administrative decision as an alternative board to the city council. And if there was also, yes, sometimes they do use that for a decision that council may have made as well. It depends on how the structure and governance and what they oversee or their jurisdiction would be. And if this is something that the council's broadly interested in, then we would be able to provide different structures and different practices that other municipalities have used.
Okay, sounds like another layer of bureaucracy and a nice payday for the attorneys. But that's what it looked like to me. But all right, okay, thanks.
Certainly.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cross, you can go and also discuss your topic of Prince George's County Municipal Association.
Great, thank you. So the Prince George's County Municipal Association, I serve as the secretary for this 25-26 year group. And they're asking for municipalities to support hosting the general body meeting. City of Glenarden has been asked if February the 19th of 2026 is supported. The ask for the city would be simply to support the food and then, of course, the meeting space. And then we would need to work, of course, with the city manager. And if we utilize the go room coordinator, we would have to send out a notification early on. The cost incurred would be under $500 for the price of food, based on those persons that would be asking, if you will, for about $500 to be made available. We would have to, of course, push proper legislation, but just wanted to get a consensus that yes, February the 19th would be something that the city would be willing to support, which Prince George's County Municipal Association is the municipal arm for our county to the Maryland Municipal League, the state level. It is a valuable partner supporting, again, over 1 million of the 2 million residents across the state of Maryland. It is a valuable partner when it comes down to making sure that municipalities get proper revenue, how we use the funds increased, and actually advocating for the things that we need at the local level. So this would be all 27 of the municipalities which comprise Prince George's County Municipal Association, the executive team, the board, and as well as its members. We more than likely not have more than 60, but again, wanted to bring that before the council for a consensus on whether or not February the 19th could be a supported date. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone opposed making that date or having, well, one, we have to check with, I don't know, if Miss Bond is here to even tell us if that date is available. It's here, so we will. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. Yeah, we have to check with Ms. Bunn, but also what, if this is something that the council wants to do, what line item would this come out of our discretionary fund to fund the food, or will it come out of, what line item was that gonna come out of?
Councilwoman Cross, did you have an idea of what line item you wanted that to come out of?
I think that discretionary funds would be a great line item, as Councilwoman Jones has suggested. And also because it deals with our across the districts, across the county, if you will, if there is a line item for supporting those types of events and programs. I know we've had, for example, certain legislators from delegates to senators coming to use the Gold Room, under those particular pretense, where a council member gets to utilize the room. And, when it comes down to the food item, I think discretionary funds is good. Thank you.
Councilwoman Jones?
Any other council members want to weigh in on what line item that this event would come out of? Thank you, Councilman Herring.
Yes, I think we probably could use special events. Again, you got to remember we did get the grant from the county, which is going to cover most of our events. So that does free up quite a bit of money. So if we wanted to take something out of there, we could probably do that. I think it's good that we do support PGCMA. We used to be very active in it, and we used to host the event every year. And they used to love coming to Glenarden because we always gave them a good spread. We spent more than $500 because we always gave them a good spread. So they used to like coming to Glenarden. So I think that we could utilize that. It shouldn't be much. So I think that line item probably will work. That way we can save our discretionary for, other things.
Okay. Councilwoman, I mean, it's not Councilwoman. Councilman Williams?
I think the special events or community events should be properly because it's to serve the community, not just us, the citizen. And they do benefit from this municipal association, the citizen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there any opposition if the 19th is free? Any opposition to hosting it?
I have a question.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Councilwoman Cross, so this is a meeting, so I guess the food would be like light refreshments? Or, I mean, for $500, what would
Well,
you?
thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. We would look at how many people would put their name down. Normally, it has been roughly about 34 personnel that would come in person because we were doing it online as well, ma'am. So we would need to account for that when we, actually pull for the number of attendees because we're going to ask for that beforehand. So if that's the case at 34, then yes, it's usually just sandwiches or, meatballs, something, hors d'oeuvre-ish, if you will. Now, listening to Councilman Herring, if we wanted to do a more sizable spread, then of course we would looking at considerably more than that, but I would not imagine it would be, more than, $700, $800 based on where we would get the food because you would look at, something very serviceable, chicken, macaroni and cheese, corn, rice, things that serve lots of persons at a reasonable price.
Okay. I just was wondering, I guess it's maybe me, because if we was hosting something out, want to kind of feed them, So maybe we could do a little bit more, like you said, with the funding that Councilman Herring had suggested to maybe, do a little upscale it a little bit more. Thank you.
Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. The many PGCMA meetings that I've been to, they've always, depending on the municipalities, I think it was Mount Rainier, they served, because they had a person, they served dinner for the meetings. Most of them, I've never seen them just serve finger food. They might have lasagna and salad and then some, maybe chicken wings on the side and carrot sticks, or, they've had various meatballs and different things. It's been more like dinner and not a finger food event. So I think the city of Glenarden would want to serve at that level for this type of meeting. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we agree that it'll be that will be the host, and then we can compile a budget at a later date after checking with Ms. Bond to ensure that that date is actually available. Okay. Councilwoman Cross.
Yes, real quick. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Council. Really appreciate that. And thank you for all the, positive feedback as far as, what to serve and how we want to treat our members of the PGCMA. It's really encouraging. And we will have a board retreat actually on September the 6th as well. So I just want to make sure that, if we can get some information from Ms. Bond on whether or not that is doable for February the 19th, then that would help. I know Mr. President would be, grateful for that information as he's compiling the list of cities who've already volunteered to be a host. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson, can you check with Ms. Bond and get back with Councilwoman Cross about that date, please?
Yes.
Is there a time, Councilwoman Cross?
Usually it's at 6 o'clock, but we can start it at a time that's necessary based on what Ms. Bond says. But really around 6 o'clock is opening the doors, 6:30, everybody
Okay.
starts arriving.
Okay, great.
And it could go from 8 to 9, but I wouldn't imagine it go beyond really 8. So we go from 6 to 8.
Okay, thank you. That's important because we can close off that section of time, and if Ms. Bond still wants to have an event earlier on in the day, then she can. So, Mr. Simpson, if you can look for to make sure that from 5 through the rest of the night, that February the 19th, 2026 is free, and you can follow up with Councilwoman Cross.
Understood.
All right. That is the end of our topics of discussion. With that being said, there's no other business on the agenda. So the time is 9:42, and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.